there, my name is Megan Clark. I am a freelance copywriter and content marketing specialist. In today's video, we're going to be tackling the question, when should I hire a freelance copywriter? 6 signs that it might be time to offload the content creation process. This is where you really work hard for this moment where you can say that things are going well, revenue is going up, sales are going up, you have a lot more clients, a lot more work coming in the door. This is a great place to be. This is obviously really exciting, but in tandem, usually with a lot more sales or a lot more growth from a business perspective, comes a lot more work and a lot more things that you might need to start offloading in the process. And this is often what I find as a copywriter working with a lot of small business owners and entrepreneurs is that it just gets to a point where you can't be sitting down and spending 2 to 3 hours creating content, writing a blog, or doing whatever it might be. There's so many other things that you need to be focusing on. While these are some of the kind of biggest signs that I've noticed with the clients that I've worked with on when they realize that I probably should get some help, I probably should hire someone to do this. 1, you're playing catch up with your content. For many clients I've worked with, one of the biggest reasons why they hired me or they've hired copywriters in the past was they were noticing things were falling through the cracks. For example, maybe it's been a few weeks or months since the blog has been updated, or the website is really out of date and you haven't even looked or thought about SEO in God knows how long. Maybe your email list is going stale, you've seen a lot of drop off, you probably need to do another re-engagement campaign, maybe you need to think about a creative way to really engage or nurture your audience, and you just haven't had the time to flesh that out and think about it. Another sign that things are falling through the cracks is that your content creation strategy is reactive as opposed to proactive. So you have a launch coming up and oh crap, we need to get a blog post out about it. Let's quickly scramble and do that. This is a big one for a lot of businesses because as your business grows, as your brand grows, as you gain more clients, it can be hard to manage the content side of the business. However, as your customer list grows, as your client list grows, as your email list grows, so does your responsibility to those customers and clients. Business relies on its content to distribute accurate and action-packed information that's really going to drive the folks on your email list and in your network to the sale. And if you can't find the right amount of time to create that value-packed and action-oriented content, then you might be missing out on future sales. Freelance Copywriter can help you get back on track by offloading some of that content creation, helping you streamline more of a content creation strategy and process, and think future and not just reactive with the content that you're putting out. Sign number 2, writing is just not for you. Let's be real, writing is not for everyone. For some people, it's actually the least favorite thing about their business is writing about their business. I get this a lot. If that's the case, offloading makes it an easy decision, right? It's just about finding the right copywriter who understands your voice, understands kind of what you're going for. One of the things you realize pretty quickly as an entrepreneur is once you have the resources, you should offload the things that you don't love and really hone in on the things that you're good at and that you do enjoy doing, because that is what's going to grow your business. A lot of times folks that don't really enjoy the writing process or the marketing process of their business end up creating content just for the sake of creating content, which is really not helpful for the folks that you're creating the content for, because at the end of the day, you're not really putting in the research, you're not really putting in the time to think about what kinds of content are really going to attract someone to your site, to your business. And that's what a copywriter can step in and help with. Not only offload the writing part, which you're clearly not interested in, but start thinking about how you can create some more and unique, different content strategies that you might not have thought of because it just wasn't a priority. Sign number 3, you need a boost, an SEO boost. If you feel like you have no idea what's going on when it comes to search engine optimization, don't worry, you're not alone. Most clients I work with are just a little confused. They have a little sense, maybe they've gotten an SEO audit before, or they've gotten a little bit of an information from their website developer or someone in the past has helped them kind of think about what SEO looks like for their site. But for the most part, a lot of entrepreneurs are living and scrambling in the dark when it comes to search engine optimization. It's really awesome to be able to hire an SEO agency who's going to come in and identify your gaps, keywords that you could be using, all of that good stuff, back-end website. Those are really great, but that only takes you so far. Your SEO agency is not going to be creating content for you. And a huge part of search engine optimization is creating content that meets your prospects where they are. that thinks about keyword intent, about who's searching for this type of content. Where are they in the journey, and what kinds of content should we be creating that meets them where they are? Not only that, but creating content that's valuable. Google is really, really thinking about, how do I provide the right answer and the most valuable answer to the questions that are being posed? And the best way to do that is to really hone in on creating value-packed content. And value-packed content takes time. And that's where a copywriter is going to come into play to really help you build out your search engine optimization strategy through improved content. Sign number 4, you just have no time. This is the biggest one, and it's really broad, but I hear this all the time. I just don't have time. I just don't have time. Who really has all the time in the world? No one. And while we all don't really have a whole lot of time, someone that really doesn't have a whole lot of time just feels so frustrating sitting down having to write a piece of content when they know they have 1,001 other things they should be doing. And at that point, when you're that busy, writing a blog post just feels like such a really low priority item, even though you know is super important. Like I've talked about, hiring a freelance copywriter really helps you offload some projects and be thoughtful around how you can be best meeting the needs of your business, and if you don't have a whole lot of time, you can't do it all. Sign number 5, you need a cohesive voice and a better writing strategy. A lot of the larger and more established businesses that I work with are creating content and have a few members of their team probably working to create content, blog posts, emails, things like of that nature. But the issue they often have, and why they're hiring a freelance copywriter, is they don't have a cohesive voice or a cohesive strategy across all these different writers that they're employing within their business or within the brand to create content. And there's no checks and balances in place. Oftentimes your brand voice is inconsistent throughout. Maybe you haven't identified a style guide or a way that you want to be presented across all of your channels. And as a result, your customer ends up feeling a little confused because things just aren't matching up across your channels. This is often when businesses decide it might be time to hire someone freelance to help us organize our content, to think a little bit more strategically about how we align all this content together, and to have one streamlined voice across all of our channels. A copywriter's job is to speak in your brand's voice and to really research and understand your target customers, the language that they use, and the brand voice that you use to communicate with them, and making sure that that is consistent across all of their writing. And that is also a really, really, really great aspect of hiring someone to be dedicated solely to your writing, to ensure that that remains consistent throughout. Number 6, we're too close to your business. Many of the business owners I work with love writing and love creating content for their business, but one of the things that they find is kind of difficult is they have a hard time stepping out of their CEO hat or CEO mindset and into the shoes of their customers instead. As a business owner, you might assume that you are the best one to write content for your business, but that's not always the case. While it's true that no one will know your business better than you, sometimes that works to your disadvantage because you don't realize when you're missing something or that there's gaps in knowledge, or maybe just different ideas of way things can be portrayed. By hiring a freelance copywriter, you might open yourself up to some new ideas, new suggestions, new content. Sometimes it can be helpful to have someone outside of your organization with a different perspective coming in and saying, hey, I think you probably should talk about X or talk about Y. Hey, I'm noticing you have a gap here, or that you could create content here, or that maybe you should do X, Y, Z. A copywriter can come in and look at your business a little bit more objectively, help you identify gaps that you didn't realize that you had, and work with you to create content to fill those needs. Here's the thing, not every business has copywriters or hires freelance copywriters, but every business writes copy. So you need to decide whether that's going to be you, that's going to be another member of your team, if you're going to offload some of the content creation, if you're going to hire a freelance copywriter. Sometimes it's the right time to really give you your sanity back, give you some more time back in your schedule, and to help maybe bring some new ideas to the table. Let me know if you have more questions about whether or not you should hire a copywriter.